what's up, players? This is Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and right now we're getting ready to have a six-pack challenge match with Potsy and Tino on the Big Podcast Show. Holla at a player.
It's the Potsy and Tino Show. Talk the facts and let opinions flow. Laughs, hot takes, and maybe a rant. Two best buds with a mic and a plan.
Two best buds with a mic and a plan. Folks, thank you so much. We're here with the Potsy and Tino Show. It is Tino Gray, Rob Potsy Podcheck. For those that don't know, anytime we hear that theme song, we get put in the green room, and the two of us are just like headbanging to it.
I gotta put that on a playlist.
Yeah, I keep telling Tino he needs to actually like start playing it at his live events, and people will be like, "What the hell is that?" And you'd be like,
Potsy Tino Show,
bitch. You feel like Okada sitting there going, bitch. So, folks, he is, like I said, he's Tino Gray. I'm Rob Potsy Podcheck. We are here almost every week. We apologize for me being in a place that Tino did not only not get decent internet connection at the hotel that I was staying at, but when I turned on the TV, it looked like I was watching a TV that still had antenna television, because it had like this the dots and the crazy crap all over. Like this hotel decided we're just not going to make sure that we've got decent connection in every room. It was terrible. Like when there was a hockey game on, because obviously, you know, the NHL playoffs are going on. Carolina plays tonight at 8:00 here in Raleigh. Well, actually in Montreal this fine night. But I had to go to one of the restaurants in the hotel area to see the game. So anyways, we always start this show off with a little segment called What's Up With You? I know mine's probably going to run a little bit longer than we want, so why don't you go ahead and talk about what is up with you, sir?
I'm trying to think, what this was the past 2 weeks, so
yeah.
I don't think I was in. I'm trying to remember the last time I was in Hickory. Was that last weekend? No.
I mean, you had today off.
Yeah, I had the day off. I'm trying to think about. I'm trying to think about the last 2 weeks. I had a lot of cool things. Well, you know, just chilling around the house. Yeah.
Well, you got something that you watched to talk about here shortly, but
yeah,
hold that one off.
Yeah, so nothing much, just working. This week I'm pretty much I think it's going to be a 3-day work week, so I'm excited about that.
And I bet you're in Hickory this weekend because there's a WWE PLE.
Yeah, I got that. And
that is every week.
No,
PLE.
No. I'm in Hickory the following week, the first weekend in June. So I'll be here.
So you're here this weekend.
I'm here this weekend.
So we can do Clash in Italy at my house. That's probably taking place like 4 hours before a normal PLE. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon kind of thing.
Yeah. So it starts at 2. It'll be done by damn 4 o'clock. But
I don't know. Michael Turner, you're obviously in the chat. Can you take a look to see what time Clash?
Oh no, it starts at 2. It starts at 2.
Well, is it the pre-show at 2 or is it the actual show at 2?
I don't know. So anyway, so I was off today. I got to hang out with rewind. Friday night, some good friends of mine who used to be youth worship leaders at our church we went to years ago, and is the wife is someone Nicole's known since 3rd grade, and now she works at Nicole's school with her, and they have a little acoustic duo act. And so we went out Friday night to check that out. I never get to go out, and they were good. Their stuff was different than what I do, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So it was a good little date night, a spontaneous date night for Nicole and I, because they started like at 7 right here on Salem Street. So it was like literally 2 minutes from the house. So we went
even better.
We went and ate dinner, and then we went and watched them. We had a few drinks, and then we came home and chilled. That was Friday night. And then Saturday I got up, did my class. Saturday night, went to the movies. I was trying to think of everything I did. And then, then yesterday I was just a bum. And then today pretty much bummed out and getting ready because I got to go to work tomorrow early. So it's pretty low key. Like I said, then Friday, Nicole's school, they do like some like little, it's a little party or some field day or something they're doing outside. So I'll be DJing out there for them for about an hour. So I'm looking forward to that. The kids are all excited. So I'll be doing that. And then, Sunday's the pay-per-view. So that's about it. Not a whole lot.
Yeah, I watched the entire AEW Double or Nothing. You caught about the last 2 hours. Michael Turner does say it starts at 2 p.m. Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate that. So we'll talk about that at length. We have a lot of wrestling topics to talk about tonight that have happened over the last 2 weeks. But over the past 2 weeks, Thursday before I left, I was actually on a show called the Capital of Comics podcast and YouTube show with my buddy Joel Rodriguez from Metal Ninja Studios. And we talked about like the ins and outs of like the backside of comics. So not necessarily like being a creator, writing and drawing, but actually from the publisher perspective and getting your books out there to a mass media audience and stuff. So it was a really cool interview because I oftentimes get asked, how did you get into it? How do you do this? Like, what can you expect? And, one of the things that Joel said to me during that interview was that it was really refreshing to see someone be realistic about like what to expect rather than just be there going, oh yeah, you can make millions of dollars in comics, because Stan Lee back in the 70s, Tino actually said that there's money in comics. And a lot of us in comics don't think there's money in comics. We think there's money around comics, but not necessarily in comics,
Well, Stan Lee made money.
Well, and when Stan Lee did it, all he had to do was go, I'm going to create a new character. And this character is going to be Web Crawler Man. I already have Spider-Man, but now I'm going to have Web Crawler Man. And Web Crawler Man would pay for like his next house payment or whatever he needed it to, because he was, the president and publisher of the biggest publisher in comics. Interestingly enough, just this past week, I don't know if you read, but Marvel Comics announced that it no longer, starting next year when David Gabriel steps down as the Marvel president and publisher, Marvel Comics will no longer actually have a dedicated publisher. They're going to have someone that is basically one of the people big time in Disney. His name is Brad Winterbottom, I believe is what his name is. He's currently an executive producer on just about everything that Marvel does. But now he is going to be the person in charge of all that. So they're now combining their publisher for the comics line with the people that actually oversee the movies, cartoons, TV, and everything else. So it's pretty interesting that they feel that they don't need to have that position in place anymore, which was a little surprising to me. They DC obviously is doing streamlining and downsizing with certain things, and this is one of those positions where instead of hiring a new one after David Gabriel decides to step down, they're just going, we're going to integrate that into someone else's job duties. So a little surprising there. Other than that, Monday through Friday of last week, I was in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was there for the what they call the licensing expo, and basically trying to take Keen Spot properties and see what we can do with those. Either get them into video games, animation, television, different mediums. And interestingly enough, while I didn't take any meetings with movie moguls or anything like that, Kevin Feige from Marvel did walk by our table. And when I was like, that's Kevin Feige, he looked at me, he went like this, and he nodded his head. and then they darted away as fast as they possibly could. No, he had like 8 people surrounding him.
Oh,
and they were all trying to talk to him about something, and he was like just trying to take it all in. So it was pretty interesting to see like him taking it all in, them all trying to get his attention for something, and he's just like, he looks at me, and I mean, we made eye contact, and he was like, and then he started smiling, and I was like, I wonder if he remembers the time that we were in the hotel elevator together at the Hard Rock in San Diego. Probably not. But he might have and he was standing about 10, 15 feet away. So he might have actually recognized that I actually said, that's Kevin Feige. He might have heard that.
Yeah.
And he was like, this guy knows.
Yeah.
But I did make some really cool meetings while I was on this trip, Tino. I can't really talk about a lot of it, but like some of it was trying to find new digital distribution models and things like that for stuff. And a bunch of other people would come up to me and they were talking about wanting to do like variant covers and things like that for comic books that we can actually make happen. So it was advantageous to be there. And I think next year, knowing what we learned this year, we will definitely have a bigger possibility to make waves. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. Other than that, got back, watched the AEW pay-per-view, and now it's just, shifting forward to what's coming up over the next couple weeks, because I've got 2 trips next month. I got another trip in July, and now it looks like I got a trip in August. So it's a lot of stuff going on. And I guess I can go ahead and tell everybody that I was promoted at KeenSpot Entertainment. I'm now the VP of Partnerships.
What does that mean?
It means that I am now the vice president of trying to make partnerships with other companies as well as with people. So like if someone wants to get their project picked up by KeenSpot, they can now specifically talk to me and I can make a decision on it. But the other way too, like I went to this licensing expo to try to set up partnerships for going forward. So digital distribution, getting movie studios to pick up our projects, getting TV studios to pick up things.
So is this...
Now, I'm only going to say if I can actually answer your question.
No. Is this a volunteer basis, or is this you getting money for this, for the new position?
Well, I mean, like I've made a living off of working at KeenSpot for the last 18 months. So I will say that I anticipate that I will continue to be able to do so.
Got it. Okay.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Is it an hourly rate? No. That's all I'll say.
Got it.
So anyway,
that's why I figured out how to say it. Okay.
Yeah, it is not an hourly rate, but neither was my last job with KeenSpot. So I can what's up, Johnny Storm? I can officially say that as of right now, I'm one of the few people in the comic book industry that has earned a living for the last 18 months.
Nice.
Yeah. So with that, so send other writers. And yes, Johnny Storm, absolutely. If they have a project and have a pitch deck, the way that I typically tell everybody to do this is come up with the entire plot, send us at least 6 pages of artwork from the book, not from an artist that you're going to switch out later on, because we can cancel a project if all of a sudden you're trying to swindle us and tell us that it's not the same artist. But send us what the plot is, send us what each issue is meant to basically be about, and beginning, middle, end, as well as some of the artwork from it, and I can make a decision of whether or not we're actually picking the book up.
So why can't you switch artists? Like if you start working on a dude and it's just not working out.
So this is what I mean by that. If you come to us saying this is going to be the artist, and that artist has a following, for example, and then all of a sudden you go, yeah, now that we've signed the contract, this is actually going to be the artist. That's not what we agreed to, right? So that's a breach of contract in the simplest of terms. So it's something where if it's a better artist, sure, we're willing to re-talk about it and just go, yeah, let's just edit the contract to admit that. But if all of a sudden you're going, hey, we've hired this really good named artist, and now we're just going to go with somebody who's a no name that no one's ever heard of, and the artwork isn't nearly the same. Like
Gotcha.
we have the right to drop the project, right? And by the way, people have to protect themselves that way because you can get haggled. And I'll put it this way: my sister at the job that she was working at before she retired just recently, she said that they hired like not an intern, but somebody like entry level, and the person that they hired ended up not being the person that they interviewed. So they said that their name was the same. Basically, they had like a professional interviewer do the interview on like Skype or whatever, and then it ended up being someone else. This would be the same kind of thing in my estimation.
How'd they figure that out? Why'd you think you could get away with that? Like you going looking totally different.
Well, so in a lot of cases, if you're doing just remote work, they don't necessarily ask to have you on camera.
Oh.
But, like companies are catching on to that where all of a sudden like someone's not doing all the work that they need to or whatever. So it's like, oh, and when I worked at LabCorp, that was something where like we would hire people and we would go, hey, we need you on camera for this. And they'd never show up on camera. And it would be like, are they even there? And then they turn in their work late and all that. And so it started coming to realization that during the pandemic, people were taking on like 2 or 3 jobs.
Yep.
So they could actually make 2 or 3 paychecks.
Yep.
Until one, 2, or all of them would sit there and say, you're not actually doing the work. We're firing you, So they would collect until they couldn't collect anymore. It's pretty wild, man. It really is something insanely weird that type of shit actually happens. So, but anyway, you ready to talk about some pro wrestling?
Yeah, Michael Turner said the new Batman game is pretty good. Like I said,
I heard the Lego Batman game that just came out, and I'm sure this is the one he's talking about. Is the best Batman game ever made? Like
really?
The reviews are all like 9s, 9.5s, and 10s.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Matthew wants that game, so I guess we're gonna be going out and getting it.
I was thinking I might wait until that game hits like PlayStation Plus for free.
Yeah, it'll probably be a while, won't it?
And I don't know, but I don't know if you also heard, but PlayStation just announced that they're going to raise the PlayStation Plus price now.
Well, I'm not getting a PlayStation Plus. You mean the
service, not the upgrade of the system, but the service that they offer. So the online gaming service. Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently which is weird because Microsoft just announced that theirs is going down in price. Because I guess they thought $30 a month is too much. So they're going down to $22 a month or whatever.
What's PlayStation going to?
I think PlayStation's right now is $15.99 a month. So it's going up to like $17.99 a month.
Well, that's $2. Yeah.
All right. Actually, before we get to pro wrestling, I forgot to say that we normally talk about TV shows. And I know Daredevil Born Again is still on here, so is Mortal Kombat. I'll update that because Tino has something specific that he watched that I have not had a chance. I might go see tomorrow. So
I'm surprised. But so are you gonna put it up?
Yes, I'm putting it up right now. Boom.
So I haven't watched a new Tracker yet. And I know you messaged me and said that. Yeah, so I got to watch that.
Did you watch last week's while I was gone?
Yes, and I didn't understand it. It started slow, and then like it was like the middle episode. That's when they started looking for the person. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, I liked that because it was like, oh, he's finishing up one that he already did. Cool, right? And then they led right into a 2-part episode.
Yeah,
with his brother. So So what's his name? Russell was in what 4 or 5 episodes this season.
Yeah.
So every season he gets a couple more episodes.
He's pretty much he's going to be a series regular here in a minute.
I can't tell you. So
all right.
Because I watched both of the last 2 episodes today.
Oh no, so I only watched one from last week. So watch that. I'm still watching Modern Family. That show is fucking hilarious, dude. It's just so funny. And it's one of those shows where you binge watch. Like some shows you binge watch, you're like, okay, I can watch this and I'll stop. But I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch one more. All right, I'm gonna watch just one more. Oh, I gotta watch this next one. And the next thing I know, it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, God damn, I gotta go to bed.
So that show is really good like that because it's also one of those shows where every episode doesn't lead to the next episode.
Yeah.
So you can watch an episode and be like, all right, that's fine. So if you just catch one on TV, it's okay. But if you're watching the streaming service that's showing it, you just sit there for 2 hours without a problem.
I do, laughing my ass off. So that's a good show.
And to think that that's a Disney show with all the inappropriate behaviors and everything else that go on in it.
Yes.
Like it is the most unwoke show on woke TV, right?
And it fucking oh god. Yeah. And I started to watch the Kevin Hart roast, and I watched the first few. I'm like,
you want to talk about the most unwoke thing on TV?
It wasn't. A lot wasn't fun. A lot of them, I'm like, dude, that's not funny. That's bad. So a lot of that shit, I'm like, I couldn't. I started. I didn't watch Tony Hick because I can't stand him, so I didn't watch his part.
He killed it.
No, I heard about the one joke he told. I'm like, no, I figured it was gonna come.
Well, I mean, even Shane Gillis talked about
Shane Gillis. He wasn't. Yeah, that shit wasn't funny. Like I said, I didn't think a lot of it was funny, so I just fast forwarded it. I got to Cat Williams. He fucking was funny, and then I really watched it for the Rock. So I pretty much just fast forward and I got to the end and watched the whole Rock bit. I just, like I said, I started watching it, and Nicole and I were looking at each other. I'm like, that's not funny, dude.
Was her name Cheryl Underwood? Underwood. She was fucking hilarious, dude.
I might go back and watch it again. Watch her.
She was hilarious. Okay. The two that were absolutely not the two that were not funny at all were the 2 young African American women. They were not funny at all. Like one of them said that she was reading a letter that she wrote because she doesn't have people skills, and the other one said that she was hearing Kevin's mother in heaven, and it was just awful. The other 2 that weren't very good were Draymond Green and Tom Brady.
I thought Tom Brady was funny. He came out shit.
His jokes were probably funny. His delivery was terrible.
Yeah,
like he just seems like a robot.
Like I said, I didn't find the host funny at all because his joke he came out wrong. I'm like so I didn't really. It was all right, but I
laughed my ass off watching that roast. By the way,
because I went to see The Mandalorian and Grogu. Which Rob laughed because he's like, "Did you watch the show?" I'm like, "No." And Rob asked me the same thing, like, "Nah, I didn't watch the show," which I guess was good for me because I didn't go in expecting anything.
You had no expectations, right?
And I thought it was good. I'm looking at a lot of the reviews.
So it's weird because
I'm like,
so Tino, it's weird to me because you mentioned that you thought that the Mandalorian in the movie was very John Wickish. So a lot of action and a lot of like being a badass, right?
Kicking ass.
But a lot of these reviews that I've seen are like, the movie is boring. And I'm like, well, Tino said that he like kicks ass in this movie.
To me, it reminds me of like the fight scenes remind me of like a Daredevil or because he goes in there and he whoops ass, and you know what I'm saying, and it's funny. The little Yoda baby, he's funny.
Grogu.
They have good, and like I said, I went in I thought you've seen them. You've seen the series, so it might
Mhm.
not. It might hit different for you. I enjoyed it. You might not. You know
Well,
what I mean?
so I intend to see it tomorrow on $7 movie day.
So you just let me know what you think.
Sure, absolutely. I'll come back next week and tell everybody what I thought about it.
I thought it was good. I would give that movie. I would give it at least a B.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna raise my expectations. I've seen a lot of things that say that it's a 5 out of 10. But I'll be honest with you, I watch a lot of 5 out of 10 movies.
Me too.
And I like a lot of them. I will say right now. So when I was on the plane going to Vegas, I was smart because on my phone I downloaded 2 movies. On my iPad I downloaded 2 movies, and then I found out when I got on the plane there was no Wi-Fi.
Damn.
So me having 4 movies downloaded meant that I was going to get to watch something, whereas a lot of people are going to sit there and do nothing on the plane, right? So I downloaded my favorite movie of all time, Tino. Tombstone. And I rewatched it. It has to be like the 18th or 19th time now. And you know what I think is the difference between when that movie came out back in like 1993 and where it is now? I think if it came out today, right now, it would be up for the Oscar for Best Picture.
Really?
I do. And I want other people to watch it because Val Kilmer was up for Best Supporting Actor in that film.
I don't think I've ever watched that, man. I need to go and watch it.
Oh my God, dude. It is the best Western ever made. But on top of that, like the attempts to be as real as possible to what was going on, like, and what the source material was, is mind-boggling at how good it was.
Okay.
But I tell you, if you were to watch it today, and I bet if the Academy, for the Academy Awards, if the people that actually vote to determine what gets up for Best Picture, pardon me, I bet they would sit there and go, this is one of the best movies that came out this year. Which makes me wonder, like, what did it go up against when it came out? Because it wasn't nominated for Best Picture. And it wasn't nominated for Best Director or Best Screenplay or anything like that. It was up for Best Supporting Actor for Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. But there's him, there's Michael Biehn playing Johnny Ringo that probably should also have been up for the same award. Like there's so many things in that movie that are just so good that, and I'm not just looking at it with rose-colored glasses either. I'll pick anything apart even if I love it. You know that. I pick WWE apart every week, right? In fact, I'm going to say right now, Double or Nothing was probably the best pay-per-view I've watched in a long time, and I still have something I'm going to pick apart in it. I guarantee it.
Well, let's get to it. We got a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, we do. So just one last thing. The Boys finished last week. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for its finale. I like a lot of people out there, I think it was rushed for the end. I think Amazon did what they always do, which is give you 3 good episodes to start a season, 3 episodes of filler, and then 2 episodes of how the fuck do we actually finish this. And when you know that it's the series finale, like doing that and only giving yourself 2 episodes to finish it, you're really sitting there going, how the fuck do we finish this? And you just put yourself in a backed up corner. And I don't know if they actually did really deliver. I thought it was fine. I thought it was a solid ending, but not a great ending for what they could have done. And then when I left for Vegas, I was watching Euphoria, and the episode that I ended on was when Zendaya was basically they dug a hole for her and put her in up to her neck, and some guy was going to play polo with her head. And everybody suddenly was thinking, I guess she's not doing Euphoria season 4. So I had to wait till I got back to watch the new episode, and I'm sitting there going, what the fuck's going to happen here? And I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, but that show is so fucking crazy, Tino. Like they did show Sydney Sweeney sitting there having sex with a guy this week, and just boobies everywhere, which will make most of the people that watch this show happy. I don't know, but like the craziness that goes on in that show every week, it boggles my mind. Michael Turner actually posted something when I sat there and said the show is like. Have you ever watched one of those home and gardens TV shows where it's like we're selling the house or we're buying a house, and it's like I sit there and just see images and don't really have a job, and my wife collects butterflies, but our budget is $1.8 million. That's what this show feels like to me. So everybody that's hooked on Euphoria, like, guys, stop doing the drugs. Because the show is just weird as fuck. Okay, there's not a lot like the acting in it is great, but there's so little actual real substance in it.
We're watching it for the sex.
I mean, but even that this season has gotten like minimal, because all of those people that were doing the sex scenes in the early seasons are now going, well, I'm rich now. I don't need to do those scenes anymore. So you get one or two a season instead of one every episode. Anyways, all right. We do have one thing from Monday Night Raw we need to talk about, Tino. That is Obafemi came out for his open challenge, which seems really rushed to me. But Brock Lesnar makes his return and rips his pants while giving, 4 F5s to Obafemi? So I was in Vegas for this. I did not get to catch all of it live or anything like that. What was your take?
God, that's a week ago. Obafemi was in the ring doing this, and Brock did come out and pretty much jumped him. I told you what I thought offline. So he got the best of Oba. They made it to where Oba is going to be Oba and Brock at Clash of Royale.
So this weekend.
Which
we should probably do
predictions.
Yeah,
we got it.
If we get a chance. If we get a chance.
So what? Like I think I told you, I think there's still the plan is that, and they're gonna his real retirement's gonna be at SummerSlam. So what I think they're doing a trilogy. I think Oba beat him. I think he's gonna beat Oba at Clash, and Oba is going to be the one to win the third, the rubber match at SummerSlam. You had a different idea.
I did, and it's real quick. I think that there is a possibility that they have Obafemi go over 2 in a row, and Brock Lesnar sits there and gets so angry that he basically demands a third match, but Oba tells him, not unless your career's on the line, and we get a third match at SummerSlam where Brock Lesnar conceivably loses that match and his career in WWE is over. I think that that's a different way to go than what we've seen in the past, and would be an interesting take on the way that you could do it.
And you think Brock's going to let him beat him three times in a row? You think he'll do that? Just pass the torch or put him over?
If Brock thinks that there's money to be made by doing that 3 times in a row, he does what's best for business. If he didn't, like you and I have been talking about Brock Lesnar versus Gunther and whether or not that match is going to happen. And if you're saying that a trilogy with Obafemi is happening,
that's what I think.
Well, but think about it. If we're now contemplating that is a legitimate possibility, that means that Brock Lesnar sees less money in a Gunther match than he does against Obafemi.
Because you got to open some fire. And I think that's where a lot of times, and we've talked about this, when someone is on fire and they're white hot, sometimes WWE is too slow to pull the trigger, right? Mm-hmm. So I think they're doing it right with him right now. And I think if Brock sees money in it, you know what I mean? I think they're doing what they need to do. Go ahead and jump on Oba while he's hot.
I think Brock Lesnar's contract still to this day has creative control, at least for part of it. So he gets to say no if he doesn't want to do it. And, when Gunther was fat, there's more of a possibility that Brock was like, well, that's a big dude. I can make money with him. And now he's going, well, Gunther's skinny, and all he does is choke people out with sleeper holds. So that doesn't seem appealing to me. Whereas Obafemi can lift me over his fucking head and dominate like I do. So like you catch him off guard, or you do this or you do that, and suddenly you've got 4 minutes of fucking like wow. Like I watched the Ronda Rousey versus whatever her name is.
Oh, all 7 seconds of it. I didn't even watch it. I heard it was on
17 seconds of it, and it was the woman that was in The Mandalorian season 1 and 2, and then they fired her because of some political statements she made. But she she lost 100 pounds to get into the fight shape and everything else. Fought Ronda Rousey, got the first shot off on Ronda, actually put her into a triangle choke, and Ronda squirt out, and then was able to get her into that arm bar that no one can actually get out of. So like when you actually are sitting there turning someone's elbow to where you're going to break the elbow, you get out of that move as fast as you can, and that's what she ended up. Not Carla Cugino. Damn it! Why can't I remember her name? Anyways, Gina Carano, that was her name. Thank you, Michael. So I had no problem with that match being 17 seconds. What I had a problem with was all of the fights except for one not going into the second round. But every single one of those fights like made someone's night. Like Francis Ngannou looked great. So with this, Brock Lesnar knows it's not about how long the match is. It's about whether or not you have that moment in that match that makes people sit there and go, holy shit, right?
I forgot to tell one too. You were gone when I watched it. Never mind. I ended up watching the Smashing Machine too. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I enjoyed Smashing Machine. I thought it was good. I thought Ryan Bader was absolutely excellent as Coleman's best friend.
Yeah,
he was incredibly good in that film.
He just kept looking at The Rock like.
So nothing else really from Monday Night Raw we need to talk about, right?
Nah.
Anything from NXT we need to talk about? I didn't have CW while I was out, so
I don't think so. I'm trying to run anything now.
I do know that
this
week.
Yes. Dark State went against the Vanity Project for the tag titles. They lost. Sugars got pinned, right? So Sugars and the other two members of Dark State looked like they were about to turn on Dion, and all of a sudden
they beat up Sugars.
Shit out of Sugars. I was like, fuck. So Sugars. Okay. I thought Dion was going to be out so he could be a babyface, but maybe they see something in Sugars because they beat the shit out of him. So
I do want to point out that NXT member Channing Stacks Lorenzo this Thursday night has a match against Santino Marella.
Santino Marella.
That's right.
And I heard Will o' the Wisp and Broken Matter back. I hadn't watched TNA in a minute.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they came back. I think it's a good move for them. Yeah. I don't necessarily feel like we need to talk about Dynamite or Collision, except for one thing, Tino. Going into this, Darby Allin had 7 title defenses in 3.5 weeks. So he goes into AEW Dynamite and he faces off against
Speedball? Was that what that?
Speedball's Mike Bailey.
I didn't watch it, yeah.
And you don't need to because you already know what happened at Double or Nothing. But my question to you is this. Why? One, so I got multiple questions here. One, why the fuck is Speedball's Mike Bailey up for a world title shot?
I think, and yes, we knew that he wasn't going to make it, but I think they were running him to see how he does in the main event. They are thinking not like what's the way WWE needs to think. They are still trying to build stars, so they're trying to see where people go. Like they did it with Speedball's partner Jet, right? The Jet. We'll talk about that too. But I think they're trying to.
He's TNT champion.
I think they're trying to plan ahead, and they're trying to see how the crowd reacts. You know what I mean? I think they're doing a bunch of things. I think it's a test. Yes, we knew that Speedball wasn't going to win, but I think they're throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
I don't know if that's actually the case with him. I think what they know is that he is a really good worker, but they like he literally is the only person that when he walks out to the ring, they don't show his record.
But too, you also notice too over Darby's 7 defenses. What did we say? 7 over 5 weeks. What did you say?
Now with him with Speedballs, it was 8.
Okay,
so it's 4 weeks.
Think about who he's been facing for that. He's been facing Here's a thumb. He's been facing different styles.
You had to pop it. You had to actually like.
Oh, I didn't mean, they're doing the different styles. Like they put him against Brody, right? They put him against the Jet.
Ciampa.
They put him against
Ciampa.
Yeah, I think the different styles. I think they were trying to see how.
Well, I think what it was really showing. Okay, we can get 30 minutes out of Darby and anybody, and every single time. I mean, like you heard it during commentary last night. They kept talking about how Darby was like, "If I die, I die," and Tony Khan seems to be 100% behind that.
And he's good against any style, right? His style,
sure.
He's not his style, but he can still fight different styles, different types of people. So I
agree with all that, but I mean, does that mean Speedball's that good, or does that mean Darby makes Speedball look better?
I don't know. I didn't watch the match.
Because I'll put it this way: every time Speedball's in the ring, he's given a great performance. He just always eats a pin.
Yeah.
You know, last night I was sitting there talking to our buddy Jeremy Whitley about one of the matches, and he sat there and said, if I was Clark Connors, I would hide so that way I don't have to eat a pin. And then it was the only other guy in that match that we thought, okay, that guy's probably, these two guys are going to be the two that eat the pin. And it was the second one. It wasn't Clark Connors, who we thought would be the first one to eat the pin. Oh, we changed the thought process there, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I was a little like, that does not make me suspend disbelief at all. There was no way that Speedball Mike Bailey was beating Darby Allin in that match 3 days before a pay-per-view. And not to mention, not just 3 days before a pay-per-view, but it's Speedball Mike Bailey, who they don't even show his record because he doesn't have a winning record. Like, the fact that he keeps getting these matches is just because Tony Khan sits there and goes, that guy can go, but I'm not going to let him win. He's fucking Barry Horowitz right now. He's not even Marty Jannetty, dude. All right. Anyways, ready to talk about Double or Nothing?
Are you just gonna skip over Saturday main event?
Oh, that did happen first, didn't it? You are right. Boom. I don't have the results pulled up, but I think I remember most of the matches.
Let's see if I can.
Hold on a second. Saturday. Actually, I might have Saturday night's main event pulled up. Hold on. Give me a second. Yes, I do. All right. So, your card for the night. Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca, non-title match. Penta versus Ethan Page, men's intercontinental title match. The Vision versus the Street Profits for the men's tag team championships. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin. And Brie Bella and Paige versus the Irresistible Forces for the women's tag team championships. Good presentation coming out of Indiana, where they were. Fort Wayne, I believe, is where they were. Fort Wayne, Indiana, was where they were. The show starts with Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Alexa Bliss versus B-Fab, Michin, and Jade Cargill. And I'm going to give you a minute to talk about the outfits from the heels.
All I said was, so they came out. So B-Fab, Jay Cargill, and Michin came out in Michael Jackson inspired ring gear. And all I said was, why does Michin look like Michael Jackson? And she did. She had the white hat from Smooth Criminal. She had the white hat, the white jacket, and it was the skin complexion. It was the hair. I'm like,
you said from Smooth Criminal. I'm going to say it was from Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, the video game.
Yeah, but which was also Smooth Criminal too.
Was it?
That outfit was Smooth Criminal. That's because he did the lean and all that.
Yeah, he did that far lean. Yeah.
So yes, I was like, why? And then so I texted you and Shavar. I'm like, why does Michin look like Michael Jackson? And Shavar laughed.
Shavar was like, now I can't unsee it. But it was so commentary was actually talking about how that was what they were all doing, because all three of them actually did it.
And even before they said that, I knew that's what it was because I recognized. I'm like, oh, it's Michael Jackson.
I mean, Wade Barrett said Shimon with it.
That shit was hilarious. And his damn English accent. And Shimon. That did make me laugh.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill was wearing the bedazzled glove and everything. This match, do you know who won?
The heels won.
And who got pinned?
Rhea
Ripley.
Jade pinned Rhea, and it was all because they got distracted because they were, as one point where Rhea and Charlotte were about to shake hands. I think it was Michin was about to kick Charlotte from behind, and Rhea kind of pushed her out of the way, and she kicked Michin. They were about to shake hands. Lexi came in the middle, and they were hugging them. They were celebrating. Jade came up and pushed Rhea into Lexi and Charlotte, and then Jade.
It was a little bit after that. It was a little bit after that because like they did the whole like Alexa Bliss was being held by the other two. They got out of that. They did get pushed into each other there, but then they got pushed back into each other. They were about to be pushed into each other, and Rhea pushed Charlotte out of the way, and then she ate like the big boot to the face. And then Charlotte got pinned, or Rhea got pinned after that. Yeah. So, which did cause a little disarray between the two of them, but also continues this nice little feud between Jade and Rhea, which I was okay with. So I was okay with the result here. And I liked that the baby faces were all trying to get chummy, and Alexa getting to be the one that was actually bringing them together. I thought was kind of fun.
I was watching something on TikTok where it was a meme, something saying Alexa is really the mom. Like the mom's coming out or something like that, because she is a mom and she's got a kid in her life, so she has to be the mom to Charlotte. And they're like, you guys behave. You guys get along.
Now I want to point out that this Saturday night's main event had 3 major women's matches on it out of the 5 total matches.
Yep.
So impressive there.
Yep.
And it was also the first one that did not have one of the 2 major men's titles on the line, which kind of crazy to think about. I maybe not the first, because I think the John Cena night, no other titles were on the line. But the next matchup was Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca, and
this match was sloppy and clunky.
It was, and I have to wonder. I don't think Sol Ruca was cleared to actually wrestle, because this match didn't have any real wrestling going on in it. It had a couple pushes, it had a knockdown, it had this, that, and the other, and then it had a ref bump that led to a disqualification.
And she was going for, and this is, I don't know, and this is where I was confused. She was going for a soul snatcher. Now, did she slip and fuck the soul snatcher up? There was Jessica's timing off, because It was rough.
It was, but again, I don't know if Sol Ruka is cleared to wrestle until this following week. Because if she was in concussion protocol after the match with Zarya a couple weeks ago, it normally takes about 2 weeks to get out of that, right? And then you wanna make sure everything's ready to go. So it's interesting because they immediately announced with her winning via disqualification that next Saturday at Clash in Italy, she now has a title match.
I think that's why they did it. Because Becky pulled the ref into it, and then she beat the brakes off of Soul after that. So that was the reasoning. So yeah.
But that's why I wonder whether or not it was, hey, is this something where we can safely get to that without
Yeah, good point.
So that because otherwise that match was like stupid short.
Mm-hmm.
It ended almost immediately, and then of course, like, Adam Pearce isn't even backstage at the show, so it's Nick Aldis having to tell Becky Lynch that Adam Pearce said you got a title match next week.
Yeah.
And Bleacher Report gave it a C, which kind of surprises me that they were that good on it.
What did they give the first match?
That's a good question. They gave that a B.
Okay, and that was what match was that?
That was match 2.
No. Who was the first match again?
The six woman match.
Okay, so that one got a B. The Becky Soul got a C. Okay, all right.
Okay. Then we got my favorite match of the night, which was Penta versus Ethan Page for the Intercontinental title. I loved the backstage packages that they put together for both of them. I thought they gave this a big match feel until Michael Cole sat there and said on Saturday night's main event, the Intercontinental Championship had been defended a record 13 times, but only changed hands once. And that was Shawn Michaels winning it from British Bulldog way back in the day.
On Saturday night's main event?
On Saturday night's main event. And that's where I had a problem with it, because suddenly it made it go, Ethan's not winning.
Well, no, they could have.
And it should have made me feel the other way.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It literally made me go, Penta's picking up the win. Now, one thing that surprised me about this match was that it was just a one-on-one match. I almost thought that they were going to have Rusev come out or something else to cause confusion, distraction, and a disqualification, but they didn't go that route. They actually let these two face each other and go the distance in probably Ethan Page's best match since before his AEW days.
Okay.
And Penta, to quote Paul Heyman, we got something in this fucking Penta. Thoughts? Anything you want to add?
No, I agree.
I was blown away by the match, and Bleacher Report gave it an A-.
Yeah, I agree.
So I remember when I said it to you, you were like, really? You think it was that good? Did you go back and watch it again?
I hadn't yet, no. I will.
Because it is a hell of a performance.
Okay.
Especially in the safety environment that WWE wrestling is. Because you're really just going move for move.
Yeah.
And you're not adding any of the like he did throw Penta through the table or over the table at one point, and I was like, oh shit. Next up, Paige and Brie Bella versus Nia Jax and Lash Legend. I'll let you talk about this one.
I mean, it is what it is. It was just the same. It was the same match it was a replay of the match they had before. Pretty much the outcome was the same,
Paige's head didn't get busted open.
Yeah, and Paige pinned Rhea because she had her not Rhea, I'm sorry, Nia, because the Bella had her foot up Paige's butt to help her, give her leverage.
Yeah, I'll say this: it's a good thing she wasn't wearing high heels, because that heel would have went right on in.
Woo-hoo!
Well played, sir. That was unexpected, but well played. Well played. I liked the video package that they put together for this. I liked how Paige actually gave a little bit of
I just can't get into them as a tag team because you know good and hell well, as soon as Nikki comes back, they're going to screw her, and it's going to, because originally it was supposed to be on the Bellas anyway, right? So they're going to make sure it goes on Nikki and Brie.
I do want to say that I really enjoyed Brie's dress code for the night, because if you looked really closely, while it did have a BB for Brie Bella on her arm, it was the same color scheme as when Daniel Bryan won the title at WrestleMania 30.
I didn't even look at it.
Or 31. The one where he did the yes movement. So it was the maroon and black and a little bit of like gray striping.
Yeah, I wasn't paying that close attention.
I just remember his outfit from that because he wore the maroon trunks. Vision versus the Street Profits. I believe this was our main event for the night. I want to point out that, the Street Profits were off for like a year.
And looked good.
And when they came back, Montez Ford looked like his waist was about this big. Like that. And Angelo Dawkins looks like he took the Ozempic diet and the carnivore diet and low carb diet, whatever. He put all the diets together because Angelo Dawkins has never looked that good. Now, it also did not affect how they performed in the ring. They looked great.
I was going to tell you my favorite part of that whole match.
I know what it is.
At the end.
I know what it is.
Juan came running and fucking Montez jumped straight in the air and leapfrogged his ass. And fucking
Dawkins
yeeted his ass.
Dawkins just screw him.
Yeeted him. I'm like, damn. That was my favorite part of that whole match.
Yeah, that, by the way, that's called physics. They used physics right there. Braun Breaker running at 23 miles an hour almost went into the third row.
Because that's one of my favorite. Because my other favorite pounce is when fucking Keith Lee did it to Adam.
Well, yeah, we talked about that 2 weeks ago. But so that was the second one that ended up being like Dawkins wasn't really a pounce. He just lifted him up and then he went through the table.
So
but it's because they were both. It was like the Doom. It was like a 3D, except he did it to his damn self.
It was so fucking cool.
It really was. And
then you had that hope spot. They did that to him. They fucking, I forget who they threw back in the ring, and they did their finishing on him, went to pin him.
And then Heyman got
his foot on the ropes, and then all hell went. I'm like, damn it, they were so close.
And this led to my one disappointment with a show like Saturday Night's Main Event. They never changed titles on this show. The only time I know that a title actually was handed to somebody was when Chelsea Green won the initial United States Championship.
Was that a nice main event?
It was. I think it was the very first Saturday Night's Main Event because it was the end of that championship tournament, and it was her versus Michin, and she ended up winning.
Yeah.
And she said she wanted to do her finish, and they were like, no. And then she talked to Michin, and Michin was like, yeah, I'll take your finish. And they did her finish. Because she wanted to do it off the second rope or something, and they were like, "No, you can't do that," and she did it anyway.
Oh, like that, hers is like the unprettier thing that she does, right?
Yes, the unpretty her.
Unpretty her, yeah.
Although apparently she says it differently every time she does it, just as a joke. But regardless, what would you give Saturday Night's Main Event, Tino?
The whole show, I give it a solid B. I thought it was good.
I would say a B, maybe a B minus, just because there were two C's in there. I felt the women's tag title match, and I do think that the Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca, I would have given that match a D because I really felt like it was a disappointment that you announce it for a match and then you're like, let's just pass this by. Like
but two, they should have not done it, especially if she was still hurt. They should have just not done it and come up with something. You know what I mean?
just put a different match on.
Yeah.
Like we could always where's Ray Phoenix right now? Like we got Penta on the card. Let's put Ray Phoenix on the card.
Yeah.
Little piece of side news. After this Saturday night's main event went off the air, AAA ended up having another card, and Rey Mysterio was announced as the general manager of AAA, much to the dismay of his son, Dominic Mysterio. I think that's a good time to actually bring up another piece of news from this week. The Ludwig Kaiser drama. So apparently I would say probably the week after WrestleMania, because it was the 23rd that this actually happened, Ludwig Kaiser and his girlfriend were in a elevator in Las Vegas still, and somebody apparently got punched in their face by Ludwig. Initial reports, Tino, and I'll try to start with the initial report, and you can go from there.
It was PDA, and a dude was mad about the PDA.
Well, it apparently was excessive PDA.
Which I want to know what the fuck excessive PDA is. But
I mean, it means that they couldn't get their hands off each other, and someone might have been.
You see her picture? You see her?
I was talking about Sydney Sweeney's boobies earlier, so I'll allow it. I think that's fair. You better talk to your wife about that, though. So now more of the story starts to come out. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So they were like the original story was that he had PDA, and then they didn't never say what happened. They just said that Ludwig punched him. Right.
Correct.
Okay. So then it came out that apparently the dude was saying that he was going to report her to ICE, and that's what pissed Ludwig off.
So the guy initially said it was said that he said something like show some decorum or something like that, like be respectful.
Yeah.
And now and after that he then said, or I'll call ICE.
Anyway, it came across that he threatened to call ICE, and that is when Marcel, aka Ludwig, jumped into action and punched him. Now, Kaiser does not deny punching him, because you can't. I mean, even if he did, you can't. It's on camera.
There's video footage.
Yeah,
it's like the NFL player that choked his girlfriend in the hotel.
He said, I did it, and this is why. And so he paid his little $1,000 bond, and he got out. Right. So a lot of people are.
Well, I want to point out that he didn't even know that charges had been filed. He was in Mexico promoting AAA and flew back to the States to turn himself in. I want to make sure that people understand that.
And it wasn't in Vegas. It was in Florida.
Florida. You're right. It was Florida. It was in Orlando after WrestleMania. My apologies there. But he flew back to Florida to turn himself in, which, by the way, if you are guilty of something, you probably still want to do, but because he knows that the story is probably more on his side, turning himself in good faith is a good thing to do here.
And they're like, a lot of people right thing. And they were like, people were like, well, it's just going to affect it. No, they're like, you kidding me? The Usos have had numerous DUIs. You know, a lot of people have done way worse, right?
Well, hold on. I mean, we're going to talk about somebody that might be in talks to come back to WWE, who hasn't worked there for almost 7-8 years now. But at the same time, this is one of those things where, yes, it could affect him if he is found guilty. If he comes to an agreement, if he takes anger management classes, if he does whatever the courts deem so that it is a not guilty verdict,
that's
He'll be
personal.
fine.
That's personal wise. Fucking professional wise, especially down there in Mexico where he's already got, and it comes out that he was defending his Hispanic girlfriend.
I heard the TikTok you sent me of the guy yelling.
Dude. But not even that. I've seen multiple TikToks saying the same thing. That motherfucker could be president down there.
Well, and Ludwig as El Grande Americano is as hot as it gets. Like I don't know of a luchador that's more over than he is, and he's German. Like do they think it's World War II times again?
But he speaks so fluent Spanish. I don't know what it is, dude. He just went down there and they fucking love him. They love him.
I agree. Awesome. I agree. He went out there. He started the whole gimmick by sitting there singing the Mexican national anthem multiple times, and they just bought into him. And let's be real, he is a solid worker.
Yes.
He is good every time. And did you finally go back and watch when this whole him versus original El Grande Americano, like their brawls at AAA, how real those things feel?
I've seen a clip of some of them, yeah.
Like they are nasty. And poor Chad Gable.
I think not shoot, but I think they're snug. They're more snug than they are in WWE. I should say. They work in snug.
More stiff.
Stiff, yeah.
Yeah, it's snug absolutely because they're getting closer, but that's because they're hitting each other.
Yeah, stiff.
But yeah. I feel bad for Chad Gable because his El Grande Americano, like I can't see him not being the one that has to lose his mask. I can't see it. And I just wish they would let Chad Gable have a good run because like even this, he had such a weird gimmick going, but then he got hurt. So they put someone else in the gimmick, and that guy got more over than he did.
That is awesome.
This is even worse than when we saw American Alpha, and they were like, Kurt Angle has a kid, and you're like, well, it's got to be Chad Gable. No, it's Jason Jordan. What the fuck? Like the guy can't catch a break.
That was funny. I forgot about that.
So, all right. You want to talk about some other wrestling news before we actually talk about the AEW pay-per-view?
The only one I want to talk about is my name is Enzo Amore.
Oh, you want to talk about this one?
My name is Enzo Amore, and I am a bona fide G and a certified stud. And you can't
bona fide stud and a certified G?
This here is Big Cass. He's 7 foot tall. And you can't teach that. Bada boo, realest guy in the room. How you doing?
So rumor is WWE is actually attempting to rework their tag team division with available tag teams in the industry, including obviously Big Cass and Enzo Amore. Now Enzo Amore,
FT soft. Sorry.
Which unfortunately, I'm going to say right now, the two guys are not going to have evolved at all when they come back to WWE. They're going to be a nostalgia act of the same gimmick.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it'll be the same, but I think they can probably put it to it like
it'll start the same. They might have to evolve from there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited, dude, because that was one of my favorite tag teams. Because it reminded me of the fucking New Age Outlaws.
Although you know, it'll finally make my statement incorrect.
What?
Well, my statement back in the day was those two will never be tag team champions in the WWE. And now, and by the way, they were never NXT tag champs. They were never Raw tag champs. They were never SmackDown tag champs. And now if they come back, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to win those tag team championships. But let me ask you something. We start hearing WWE saying that they're going to rebuild their tag team divisions. And suddenly like, didn't they just get rid of like 3 tag teams?
Yeah.
So what makes these two better than like the Motor City Machine Guns?
I don't know. What's Shavar?
He said, I need to start investing in AEW.
Yeah, what does that mean? Okay.
He probably read that it was one of the best pay-per-views that I think he's still going.
Yeah. Anyway.
Also random, but did either of you see Hogan live?
No.
No. We'll talk to him after we get off here.
Want to join the? I was going to say want to join.
Yeah, ask him if he wants to join the show. But you know, while we're talking about these guys, obviously, I just asked you what makes these a better choice, because I think even in our pro wrestling group on Facebook, I think Michael Turner might have been the one that asked, like, why would you bring these two back after you just fired all these other people? And you know, I mean, for the same reason that they've got Joe Hendry singing "Fire Logan Paul" every week, even though they just fired 22 people, right? Is there more comments that I didn't look at?
I was gonna, I just Michael Turner. I just saw OnlyFans. That's what caught the call. I'm like, what? That's just reading.
Well, he wrote, "Don't want to see Enzo and Cass or Lacey Evans just stay on Only." Well, Lacey Evans did say that she's coming back to wrestling, but I don't think she's going to make it back to WWE.
No. I've seen her in AEW or TNA.
I mean, TNA definitely, because they'll take anybody that has any name recognition, even though they can't use the names, which makes it even funnier to me. Here's another name that came up, Tino. Baron Corbin is in talks with WWE.
I hadn't heard that one.
So a lot of people are claiming that, well, not just claiming, he did finish up obligations. Well, okay. The internet is reporting that Baron Corbin, Tom Peastock, or Bishop Dyer, whichever name you want to actually call him, is finishing up obligations with MLW and other places. And I thought it was funny because he messaged back on Twitter. He goes, "Well, shit, someone should have told me before I signed for this European tour that I'm getting ready to do." However, where's Italy?
In Europe.
And he's getting ready to do a European tour.
So
I think it just leads to more of that talk. But the rumor that I had heard is apparently Danhausen currently has a science project, and they're saying that Baron Corbin could be the.
No.
They've also said that Enzo Amore could be the science project.
That would be funny as shit.
Could you imagine him coming out dressed as Danhausen, but having the crazy hair that Enzo always had?
And he's in Danhausen makeup. He's doing the Enzo dance.
Okay, we probably got to stop there with that one.
Enzohausen.
So obviously this week we have Clash in Italy. I don't know what all the matches are. I don't know if you have it pulled up. I don't. We can skip it, except for one thing that keeps getting said is that the tribal combat match between Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns is not just. Is it for the title? So it is for the title, but Michael Cole said on Saturday night's main event that the winner of that match has the loser acknowledge them as tribal chief. So if Jacob Fatu wins that match, Roman Reigns has to acknowledge him as tribal chief. Now, with it being a Clash in Italy, have we ever seen one of the major titles change hands in one of those matches? I don't think so, right?
No.
It'd be a good time to do it if Roman's taking all of the month of June off. I just think it's a little early for Roman to lose a title. But here's where we come up with this, Tino. Zilla Fatu talks. What happened this past weekend with the guy who yells all the time on his TikTok?
Zilla Fatu apparently won his match, but ended up throwing down the title and just walking away, which leads
Did he
me
throw
to
it down
believe
or did he lay it down? I don't.
he left it in the ring.
He left it in the ring. Okay.
Whether he threw it down or he laid it down, it got left in the ring. He didn't take it with him. So I'm thinking that's meaning he's coming. And I think
Well, if there is a spot, like it's weird to me because they're talking about, oh, this adds another Samoan to the roster. Didn't they just get rid of like 2 or 3 of them?
Yeah, but
there's a difference. There's a difference. Although Zilla needs to keep his mouth in check apparently because he likes dropping F-bombs during when he's talking. So,
well, he'll fit right in because then the Rock drops F-bombs too.
Yeah, only on his Instagram.
Well, he did it on when him and Cody were doing that thing, and
but that was on Instagram. That was after it went off the air.
I think he did it a couple of times too, live.
I think he said bullshit a couple times. Anyways, you ready to talk about the?
Yeah, you saw more of it than I did, so yeah.
All right, so I got to run through these and talk about the ones that you did not see. Here was your card for the night: Darby Allin versus MJF for the title versus hair world championship match. Then you had Athena versus Mina Shirakawa for the Owen Hart tournament on the women's side. Bandito versus Swerve Strickland on the Owen Hart tournament for the men's side. Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay for the men's Owen Hart tournament. Tekla versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander versus Hikaru Shida for the women's championship. FTR versus Cope and Cage, or I'm sorry, Cage and Cope, because Christian wants his name first now. It was an I Quit match for the men's AEW Tag Team Championships. Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly in a Continental Championship with no time limit. Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita for the International Championship, because we got 78 championships, we have to have them all on the line. Stadium Stampede match: Chris Jericho, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Jack Perry, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin versus Ricochet, Bishop Khan, Toa Leona, Mark Davis, Andrade, David Finlay, and Clark Connors. The Divine Dominion versus Viva Vaughn and Zeta Steel, did not see that match. The Conglomerations versus Boom and didn't see that match because these are all on the and the Death Riders versus the Ops, I guess, were all the pre-show, the 0 hour matches. So, real quick, the Divine Dominion versus Viva Vaughn and Zeta Steel. Bane and Cross defeated Vaughn and Steel. C+. The Ops versus the Death Riders. The Death Riders defeated the Ops. What's even the point of Samoa Joe coming back if he's just going to have his team lose every match? Boom and Doom and Conglomeration versus Shane Taylor Promotions. Why is this even a thing? Boom and Doom win.
Boom and Doom.
And then we start the main show, okay? And 8 o'clock at night, they're live from New York City. Adam Copeland comes out to his music. They stop the music and people continue to sing it for another 2 or 3 minutes. It's pretty impressive. Christian Cage comes out, and this was, and then FTR comes out with Stokely Hathaway. This was one of those classic I Quit matches where the referee has the microphone and actually keeps asking them to say it, which adds so much more to these matches. Because, did you say why?
He said he's asking him to say what?
To say I quit.
Oh, gotcha.
So of course, like you have a moment where Christian Cage is down on the mat and Dax Harwood's got him in like an arm bar, stretching him out. And the referee comes up and he's like, say it. And Christian Cage goes, go fuck yourself. And it was great, And then like they get to a point where Cash and Harwood are sitting there beating them up again. And Christian Cage is sitting there and he's like, I banged your mom. And the whole crowd,
yes,
the whole crowd loses it. And then the crowd starts chanting "Banged your mom." And yeah, they start chanting it, and you just see Dax Harwood sitting there with fingers up, sitting there like giving the middle finger salute to everybody. The match takes a turn when Stokely gets involved. He ends up crotching one of the guys, which brings out Beth, who just goes by Beth, not even Beth Copeland, not Beth Phoenix, just Beth. And Beth comes down to the ring looking like Luna Vachon and takes out Stokely and immediately gets thrown into the ring steps. They pick her up. Stokely's holding her, and Dax Harwood sets a table outside on fire. And Cash Wheeler sits there, runs at them, and Beth, obviously being stronger than Stokely, pulls Stokely into the way. And him and Cash Wheeler go through the flaming table. Stokely was wearing his jacket. He's the one that took the brunt of it, but Cash Wheeler was just wearing trunks. So he went into the burning table pretty rough. The match ends with Adam Copeland grabbing Spike and rubbing it into Dax Harwood's head while Christian Cage has him in a Scorpion Deathlock. And he says, "I quit." So you have new tag team champions, the 52-year-old Adam Copeland and 50-year-old Christian Cage, maybe 52 as well. I don't know. But 50-year-old men as your tag team champions. And by the way, Adam Copeland's starting to look old. Like we always talk about, like that weird face thing. Skeletor face. And Christian Cage still looks like he did when he was ECW champion in WWE in 2007. Like, it's crazy to see the difference between the two of them. But hell of a match and hell of a way to start the PPV. And Bleacher Report gave it a B+. Apparently there was a backstage segment between newly All Elite Mick Foley and MJF, where MJF, of course, kicks Mick Foley in the balls because that's all Mick Foley's good for anymore. Bang, bang, kicked in the balls. Darby shows up to basically say he's going to make that right later. Next match up, which shocked the hell out of me, Tino, was Okada versus Takeshita for the International Championship. Apparently Don Callis had to approve this match because they're both part of the Callis family. And we get one of the best matches I have ever seen in AEW. So when Dave Meltzer gives this a 6-star review, I don't know if you can go over 5 stars for real, but it was a 5-star match. This match had everything. It had drama. It had like the which one of them is going to turn babyface, which one's going to stay the heel, which one's going to do this, all that stuff. As the match ended, because Takeshita at one point did a brainbuster outside the ring to Okada, and Don Callis got in his face and said, "What are you doing? We don't do that kind of stuff." And Takeshita was like, "Get out of my face. Someone needs to win this match, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to win." And after the match, the entire Don Callis family got in Takeshita's face about it. And he's like, "What do you want to do about it?" And then Kyle Fletcher's music hits. And Kyle Fletcher comes out, and Takeshita puts his arm around him and is like pointing at all the other guys. And Kyle Fletcher basically shoves them all out of the ring, says, "We're family. We just keep it together," blah, blah, blah. Gets back over to Takeshita, holds his hand up, hands him the belt, and then crushes him. And so Takeshita has been kicked out of the Don Callis family. And Kyle Fletcher hits him with the belt, does that number. And I'm going to say, at one point, him and Okada both picked that belt back up. And they both stared at each other. And I'm just waiting for the day that Kyle Fletcher says, "Fuck you, Okada. This is my group." Because it's coming. Because if you look at all the other members of that Don Callis family, Okada's the odd man out now.
Mm.
So I'm expecting if Kyle Fletcher is able to wrestle by Wrestle Dream in November or October, whenever that pay-per-view happens, I expect Okada to be kicked out of the group. And then need the help of like the Young Bucks and Kenny to help him again. But hell of a match. I mean, they gave it an A-. This match had everything, dude. I don't know what Bleacher Report calls an A+ match anymore, but this I thought was an A+ match. Then we start getting our Owen Hart tournament matches. I just put them all in one grouping here. Athena versus Mina Shirakawa. Thought this was an odd spot for this match. I would have put it before Okada Takeshita, but whatever the case might be. Solid B match. Athena scores the win over Shirakawa. I didn't expect Shirakawa to have any chance of winning. When you think about it, Athena's only lost like 3 matches in the last 4 years or something at this point. And most of them have been to Mercedes Moné. So I Tony Storm. So I think that they're still trying to keep her strong. I don't know if she's got a chance to win this tournament with the way that it's breaking down, because I do have a question. They have a women's wild card in this tournament, Tino.
I remember I told you about that. You weren't even aware of that. So
Yeah. Willow Nightingale has removed herself from due to injury, and even the TBS championship, she's out.
She didn't remove herself. She had to. She's
She's injured.
Yeah. So yeah, she did. She said that on Wednesday night. You know, when she got hurt during her defense against Red Velvet. It's a shoulder. She had to relinquish her title and remove herself from the tournament, which was now why we have a wild card.
Yes. So who do you think is the AEW Women's Wild Card? Is it going to be a letdown, or is it going to be someone like Mercedes Moné? Is it going to be Britt Baker?
I say Britt Baker or Thunder Rosa.
I can see Thunder Rosa. I can see that. I think Mercedes Moné, because they'll probably say something like she's always been a fan of Owens or something like that, and because of that she pushed to get herself ready and be back in time for this tournament, kind of thing.
Okay.
But I like the Britt Baker idea. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be Nyla Rose or anybody like that. And I don't think unless they sign like a new Stardom champ or something like that, I don't know who it would be. So let's go back to
somebody that just left WWE, like a Scarlett.
Well, her and Karrion Kross or Killer Kross are part of MLW.
Who did we just release from WWE?
Nikki Cross.
No. Is she the only female they let go? I would love them to see. I would love to see them bring in, what's her name? Steele, the Olympic chick, Tyra May Steele.
Tyra May. Well, you know, NXT people typically only have a 30-day spot for their. It
could be Zelina. It could be.
Well, so people on the main roster, you got to think, have a 90-day. So if they're doing this on either Wednesday or Saturday, I would assume that Tyra May would be a good choice because NXT people typically only have a 30-day no compete.
Yeah, just a thought. Okay.
Sure. All right. Next match up in the Owen Hart tournament. Oh, sorry. We've got Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly happen next for the Continental Championship. No time limit. And remember, Kyle O'Reilly thought that he was going to actually have Jon Moxley tap out on Wednesday night. So they go back and do this match again. And I told you, Tino, that I had the perfect ending for this match if they wanted to go a brand new route that I don't think I've ever seen this ending for a wrestling match before, right? And the way that I would have ended this match because they did this thing where Kyle O'Reilly kicked the ring post. So his leg that he did all of his kicks with, every time he'd kick Jon Moxley, he'd fall down because like it was still in pain. And the way that I would have ended this match is he would have gotten like a leg lock on Jon Moxley and had Jon Moxley to the point where he's almost getting ready to tap out. And Kyle O'Reilly, in his own pain, sits there and passes out from the pain that he's having because he's got that leg wrapped around his bad leg, and would have passed out from it. That, to me, would have been the perfect way for Kyle O'Reilly to still be the baddest ass on the planet and lose. Yeah. But instead, they had Jon Moxley reverse the leg lock and put Kyle O'Reilly in his own leg lock or chokehold. I don't even remember what the hold was. And Jon Moxley ends up winning the match. And then afterwards shakes Kyle O'Reilly's hand because Jon Moxley isn't a bad guy, but he was a horrible guy that was trying to kill people earlier in his career in AEW. Once again, I am bored with Jon Moxley, and this would have been the perfect time to take a title off him and say, John, take a fucking vacation. But instead, we get a match that Bleacher Report gives a B+ to. It was a hell of a match. And if you ever want to see a match that shows in-ring psychology and selling techniques, this is a match to watch, at least until Kyle O'Reilly starts trying to fake his limp, because his limp is horrible. But otherwise, his selling of the knee and the leg that he kicked with was amazing. But his limp just looks like a white guy trying to dance. I can say that, Tino.
Yes, you can.
Jim Ross was on commentary on it, and when the match ended, I have to tell you, who was the champion going into this match, Tino?
Moxley.
Okay. Who was the champion coming out of this match?
Moxley.
And of course, Jim Ross on commentary sits there and goes, "We've got ourselves a new champion, everybody."
He is an old delirious man.
I think he even said that at one point. I think he said something like, "I'm an old, tired, and like something kind of man." And I just started laughing. I was like, "Yes, you are, Jim Ross. Yes, you are.
As long as you know.
As long as you know, it's completely okay." The next match was Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay. In this match, and you still were not part of the show at this point. This match started with Will Ospreay, with Samoa Joe coming out, and then Ospreay's music hitting. And Ospreay has the best music in AEW, if you ask me, except maybe Cope and Jericho. Obviously, those two with their classic music, I think, still take the cake. But Ospreay with his Ospreay, like they did it right with the music chants. But as Ospreay is taking off his jacket, he points out to the crowd, and Jon Moxley sits there, looks at him, and puts his arms in the air and goes like this. I don't know why he was doing that, but
he was cheering him on.
He was cheering him on because 2 weeks after Will Ospreay said, "Jon Moxley, teach me how to do everything," Jon Moxley had taught him everything in 2 weeks, including, "Don't wear kinesio tape, kid. You don't need it because it just shows where you're hurting." So Ospreay no longer has the bad neck.
That just seems like common sense. Dumbass.
I would put kinesio tape everywhere that it felt fine, so that way, like, people go after that, you know.
Here, put it on my big toe.
Exactly. I've got it on my boot. You know, go after my boot. So, obviously, this match includes the Samoa Joe walkaway. But it started, you know,
nope.
The nope. It started with while Samoa Joe was still sitting there doing his like cheering up the crowd and everything, as he stepped back and the Dapper Yapper is sitting there giving the introductions, Will Ospreay runs into the ropes, jumps on the second rope, and hits a cutter on Samoa Joe immediately, which in turn, Samoa Joe no-sells because he's Samoan. He gets up and he's just angry. But this match happened the way that you thought it would. I think you came in midway through this match, didn't you?
Yeah, I remember the nope spot.
Yeah, you remember the nope. And then shortly thereafter, Ospreay hits the hidden blade.
He knocked him the fuck out.
Gets only a 1 count on the first one. Joe gets up, and Ospreay hits him with a second one to the back of the head and gets an immediate 3 count.
And that's when you said, I think he knocked him out.
I thought he knocked him silly for sure. Hell of a match. These two, I definitely know, because at the end of the match, Joe actually sat there and gave him the nice little respect symbol and everything, which was weird a little bit because for the past couple weeks they've been selling that Ospreay should have went with the Ops rather than with the not Blackpool Comic Club, the Death Riders.
Yeah.
Although the Ops lost to the Death Riders earlier in the night, Samoa Joe loses to Ospreay here. So, was Samoa Joe wrong in his telling of you should have come with us so that I could teach you how to really be a badass?
Nope.
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 Not unless he wants to learn the note. But heck of a match. They gave it an A-. And when Samoa Joe threw Will Ospreay neck first into the outside barricade, I thought Will Ospreay was done. I was like, this is either going to show that kid's neck is 100% or his neck is 0%. And he got up and finished the match. Hell of a match. But this wasn't just a hell of a match. The next one for the Owen Hart Cup first round matches, Bandito.
This one
versus...
I was excited to see, and then you pop my bubble because I like to see him hold him up with one where I'm like, will you shut the fuck up?
So what are you talking about, Tino? Why don't you just tell everybody what I said?
Because I think it's a cool look when Bandito gets you up in that move, and then he puts the arm down and holds you up with the one arm, and then here's this one. Well, that it's the other guy really holding him up. I'm like, I know, but shut the fuck up. It still looks cool.
You know what made it even cooler last night though? So I'm gonna give him his real props. He pointed to the crowd with the other hand. He looked out into the crowd and he was pointing to them like, look at what I can do with one arm. So he was still doing other because normally you got to keep that arm like firm so that whoever's holding themselves up. And he was sitting there and he's like pointing out the different people in the crowd. And I'm like, Swerve has got to keep his balance and shit up there. and the whole time I was like, I hope Bandito throws him out of the ring. And what did he do?
Threw him out of the ring.
He threw him out of the ring. So he did everything I wanted him to do there. But we saw a house call that we had never seen before last night, didn't we?
I thought he killed him.
So, folks, if you didn't see this, it is on AEW social medias at this point. Bandito lifted Swerve up to where he landed on his shoulders. And then Swerve somehow house called him to the back of the head from a standing position on his shoulders. I've never seen anything like it.
It's something you got to see to believe it. We can't even do any justice in trying to describe it. It was just like, because I didn't see it at first. And Rob said, "Do you see that?" I'm like, "No, I missed it." And they did the replay. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, because I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I got a text message from Jeremy Whitley that said, "What the fuck?" But I'll tell you, folks, that move, like it takes incredible balance. It takes incredible taking into account that your opponent needs to take care of you, all of that, and then Swerve to do it, and Bandito, like the way that he even dropped, he didn't drop onto Bandito. He was able to drop safely so that nobody got hurt there. Like, and I know that I'm talking a little kayfabe there because we're obviously talking about pro wrestling, but for him to land off of Bandito there took a lot to understand exactly what he needed to do that. And it was incredible, folks. It was absolutely fucking amazing to see. And the whole match was stellar. Like, these two did everything to each other. And I said last night that I do believe that this tournament is going to end up being Swerve versus Ospreay in the finals. And right after I said that, Jeremy Whitley sent me a text message that said, I think it's going to be Swerve and Ospreay in the finals.
Yeah.
So, and it just makes sense because if I remember correctly, when Ospreay got hurt, he lost a match to Swerve, and Swerve went on to All in London with the championship against Daniel Bryan, right? Or Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
Which everybody thought was going to be Ospreay versus Bryanson. Brian. Why am I saying this? I'm not Bryan Danielson. There we go. Bryanson. I'm like, what the fuck? What? Sorry. Bryan Danielson. I thought it was going to be Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay, but it ended up being Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson. So this year, I think it's going to be a return match of those two, with Swerve losing to Ospreay and Ospreay main eventing the All in London. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Apparently someone wants us to have AI viewers. We don't need AI viewers. We have our own viewers. I think the next match up was the women's world title match, and I am correct. Tekla versus Sheeta versus Stat versus Jamie Hayter.
All right.
I called it right as the match was starting. I said Tekla's going to go over in this match. She did. I don't think that this match was superb. I thought it was a B. I thought that all women gave a good effort. I did like the drama that they added between Sheeta and Statlander, even though I never really bought them as a tag team to begin with. How you feel?
Sheeta, and let's see, I think they went into this and they were letting you know that the Sheeta and Statlander thing wasn't going to work out. They went in as uneasy partners. It was almost a Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair-esque kind of thing. But I don't think it's going to work out the way Charlotte and Alexa worked out. I think they're eventually going to turn on each other.
Yeah, I'm hoping with the Charlotte and Alexa thing, and I know that's WWE, and we're talking about AEW.
No. I'm talking about the Sheeta and.
I know, but I'm hoping that when they end that partnership, they just go their separate ways and wish each other good luck. You know, like one gets traded to the other show.
Okay.
Whereas this one, I'm ready for those two women to hit each other.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And again, solid match. I gave it a B. And for me, I got to be honest with you. I don't have as much interest in the women's division in AEW because I don't think they take enough time building story. This one, I felt like with Statlander and Sheeta, they've been building a little side story between the two of them, and that got some play out here in this match. But otherwise, I didn't really see any reason why these three women were facing Tekla in this match because I didn't think any of them had a chance to beat her, which is sad because Chris Statlander does hold one of the few victories over Tekla. Make sense?
Yep.
So, next matchup. I'm not going through all the people that were involved in this again. We got a Lio Rush appearance.
He still freaks me out.
He does, but it's so good, man.
He still freaks.
Like, I want
on all fours like that. And the
what I
funny
want
part was, huh?
You know what I want to see?
What?
So there's a character. So there was a time where the X-Men did this thing called Age of Apocalypse, and Sabretooth had another character that kind of looked like a mini version of Sabretooth that he would carry that he would like have on a chain and walk around, right? I would love, and I know that this is wrong, but I would love for MVP to have Leo Rush on a chain and he comes down to the ring with them and everything. Because but I did like the callback to Lashley and Leo Rush in WWE in this moment where Bobby Lashley just first of all he had this weird look on his face where I was like okay, I know he's not hurt. And he doesn't look gassed. But what's that weird look? And then all of a sudden they pan over and it's Leo Rush and he's like, "How you doing?" or whatever.
I was like, no, make it stop. Make it stop.
It was so good.
And then they knocked Lashley out, and then they fucked up. They fucked Leo, and then Bobby Lashley came out like, "Do you mess with him?" He fucked him up for hitting Leo. It was so fucking funny.
This match, so the entire card was like banger after banger, and even this match, it had its moments because my buddy Jeremy, sat there midway through the match, and he goes, "They're all dead." Because they were all knocked out. Unfortunately, in a match this size, 7-on-7, going backstage, like it lost the crowd for a while.
Yeah,
it got it back because they did the baby faces go over thing at the end of an NXT show where they all hit their finisher on one guy, but it looked like it was going to be Ricochet, and then what's
Toa Leona, the big one?
No, it wasn't Toa Leona. It was the other one.
I can't think of his name.
Shit, my thing just backed off of where it was. The other one from the Gates of Agony.
Yeah.
He's the one that ended up taking the shot and losing the match. Yes, Johnny Storm just said Wild Child. That's who it was that Sabretooth would carry on a chain with him, and like he looked like just a mini Sabretooth, which is cool. But it's good to see Jericho's team finally get a win, and the entrance for Jericho's team I thought was hilarious. They're all wearing suits, ties, looking like tuxedos, all this cool stuff, and then they show Kenny Omega smoking a cigar.
That was hilarious.
And then they cut back to him, and he's coughing
because he's like he was so cool. He's like, that was funny.
The match was fun, but it didn't blow me away. Like this type of match, I don't think this is the right show for it, or I think it should have went on early in the night.
Okay.
So that's my feelings on it. And then.
Are we there?
The main event.
All right.
You got 12 minutes or less to talk about it. By the way, Carolina Hurricanes are up 2-1. So
I'm gonna let you talk about it. I mean, I the only thing that I would say.
Is this going to be about the end, or are you going to talk about the actual match? How it happened?
No, the actual match was. Okay. I thought it was a good match. It was that one time where Darby needs to slow down, and Darby needs to slow down because that one when he did the dive out the ring and landed like on his head, it could have broke his neck. I thought he broke his neck.
That was right at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, and I thought they call it because they had the doctors and everything over there. I'm like, they're about to call this fucking match already. He's killed himself within the first 5 minutes of this damn match, right? I don't know. I think he just needs to slow down. And yeah, because you said it earlier. He said that he's going to die in the ring.
Doesn't care if he lives or dies. He actually said in an interview with Sports Illustrated, if I die, there's worse things that could have happened.
It's kind of like Drago Ed Rocky, if he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies. So this was a competitive match that went all over the place. It was another match where the commentary was important here because the commentary team kept talking about how Darby had 7 title defenses and Max had 1 match, and Max lost that 1 match.
I think they were trying to come up with a way because he's had 7 title defenses. They're trying to say he's worn himself out. He's not at 100%. So I don't know. Are they making it a back door so he can come back when he's 100% healthy to have a rematch, or are they making it like, because that doesn't make MJF look strong if they're pushing how worn out Darby is, and then he beat him. Well, you beat this dude because he's worn out. You get
so it's interesting. That's a really good question because when you think about it, you got to think Darby purposely said, I'm going to be a fighting champion. So he was out there every week. And I mean, the matches he was having were pay-per-view quality matches on a week in, week out basis. You knew he was going to win most of them. Like if he had lost Tommaso Ciampa, I would have believed it, but there was no way he was losing a week into his title reign to Tommaso Ciampa, right? Tommaso Ciampa, obviously they see something in and has been putting on killer matches since he got there. But at the same time, like they're trying to kill each other when they're out there. It's disgusting. Amazing matches, but disgusting to see them like throwing themselves out there for free TV.
Yeah.
Same time, like yes, the idea that Darby had worn himself out, so Max had easy pickings. Although Darby still gave him a hell of a match. I mean, it was a 30-minute match. And he did a bang bang off the top of the stage directly through a table, and of course busted his head open during it, Tino, and couldn't stand up, and they let him continue and finish the match. Like, and the first 2 times he fell down, I do not think was just him selling. I think that was he didn't have his bearings. He didn't have his legs under him. They were wobbly at that point. Like I thought he was concussed.
Yeah.
The way that he did it, they had a table with a chair and clippers out there in case Max lost this match, and Darby dove off that top of the stage through the table, very similar to how Mick Foley did at Madison Square Garden against Triple H back in the day. But they had a platform. And it looked like Darby's head hit the platform, which ended up busting him open severely. And I don't think Darby ever recovered after that. And that's not kayfabe versus not kayfabe. I don't think he ever recovered after that. I feel like the rest of the match, like he slipped off the ropes at one point. He did a bunch of different things that were uncharacteristic of Darby Allin after that moment. And then Max ends up hitting. What move was it that he hit for the win?
He did the
it the Heat Seeker?
No, he didn't hit the Heat Seeker. He did the one that Darby beat him with.
The flip over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he I mean, basically every time those two have lost a match to each other, it's been the same way. They did the flip over 1, 2, 3.
He called the hip toss, whatever it was.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But what you think of the match?
I give it. Darby trying to kill himself. I give it a B. It was a good match. I don't know if I give it an A-. I give it a B.
I give it a B as well. And I give it a B because I felt like after watching the 7 matches that I watched Darby have over the past month, this was not better than those. You know, I if you guys want to see an instant classic, go back and watch Ciampa versus Darby. That match is an instant classic. The Brody King versus Darby is an instant classic. Those matches were fucking insane. They reminded me of straight up ECW days back in the 90s. Like, and yet still had more wrestling involved than probably those matches in ECW back in the 90s.
Now let's hit this. Let's hit the last little bit of that because we're just about done. But hit what happened at
Okay,
that.
so after the match, Max wins 1, 2, 3. So for the first, I want to point out for the first time ever with a hair stipulation in a match, I didn't get to see someone's hair get cut, and I even thought Max was going to try to shave the rest of Darby's head at one point. But it looked so they're stretchering Darby out, and as they get him on the stretcher and tie him down, Max does what he likes to do, which is stand on it and basically hold the title up. And then Kevin Knight comes running down, TNT champion, gets in Max's face, gets in the ring, sits there, points, and what's he do, Tino?
He jumps off the top rope on the Darby. I don't understand.
And Tino audibly sat there and said, "Why?" And my text message from Jeremy Whitley, "What the fuck?" And right before that, didn't I sit there and say Kevin Knight's going to jump off the top rope onto Darby?
I was like, there's no way. But
And then Kevin Knight just has this, like, suddenly he's encompassed Swerve Strickland as he stares at him, licks his lips, and all this weird stuff to basically be like, "That's right, I took Darby out." Which means, folks, Darby's not getting a world title rematch with Max at the next pay-per-view. He's getting maybe a TNT title match against Kevin Knight for no fucking reason at all.
Unless they put the belt back on him and they let Kevin Knight keep going for the world title. You know what I mean? And
well, so I assume
he'll get it anytime soon, but start pushing him towards that way.
So I assume, and I'm just going to say this, I assume that Darby's going to take a little bit of time off after putting on that month of like survive if life lets him, right? So like Taz's old statement of survive if I let you. No, it's God. Survive if God lets you is Darby Allin's mantra right now. So I think he's going to take a little time off. And while he does, we're going to see that evolution of Speedballs because he's going to wonder why Kevin Knight turned heel. Because they've been a babyface tag team since coming to AEW.
Hadn't thought about that.
So yes, I do think we're finally going to, except I think we're going to find out who the Jannetty really is, because when they face each other after Kevin Knight throws Speedballs through the barbershop window.
Shut up.
Oh my God, dude, do you realize that with the whole hair angle and the clippers, they could have had a barbershop window that Speedballs gets thrown through right there to remake the one of the most iconic moments of all time?
That would be interesting.
But they wasted it because Max didn't get his haircut, Darby didn't get his haircut, nobody got their haircut, and Speedballs didn't come out to go, "Kevin, why?" Anyway. Tino, that's all I got, man. Like, if anybody was interested, the Carolina Hurricanes game right now at the end of the first period is 2-1 Canes. Go Canes. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody how they can reach you?
You can reach me
on Facebook.
Yeah, look at that. That's Bronson Reed.
Oh, I saw the picture.
I was like, I hadn't. I was like, what the? But anyway, thank you, Michael. So you can catch me I'm on Blue Sky. You can catch me on the Insta SC Tino. You can catch me on the TikTok Tino R Gray Music. You can catch us on X at Potsy and Tino, Facebook with the Potsy and Tino Show. We're here each and every week right here on the Pots and Pans Network. Please like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, buy our shit. want to say also thanks to Adam's House Cat for the wrestling song, which we used to use. Hadn't used it in a while, but they let us use it for so long. You can still find it on iTunes for the low price of 99 cents 99.
Want to go ahead and tell everybody thank you so much for following us for 455 episodes. Sorry we couldn't be here last week. Again, internet problems while I was in Vegas. We will try to be better about that in the future. There will be a couple times over the next couple months. I'm sure we won't be here because of me traveling or whatever else.
Something we should have said at the top of the show. Please forgive me. It is Memorial Day. Thank you for anybody who's watching for your service. We want to say thanks to all our servicemen and women.
Specifically for any service members that may have lost their lives in the line of duty. I agree with Tino there. You know, obviously Memorial Day is for those that have lost their lives, but to anybody who has and still serves our country, thank you so much for doing so. The land of the free is important to me, so I'd like to keep it that way. You know, with me, you can follow me on all of the socials at either Rob Potsy Potchak, or of course on Twitter at Potchak. Folks, I had a blast. I hope you did. Yes. It once again is one of my favorite things of the week is to sit here and do this with Tino. You know, talking shit with him on text message, you know, before and after the show. We tried to actually do this tonight here live, but weather did not permit. It's pretty bad here. I
got wrapped up with stuff I was going. It took longer than I thought it would. So,
but I had a blast. So glad to be back, and thank you for putting up with us. We'll see you next week.
Hit our music.
Ready? Ownership contributing to Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino show.
Thanks for watching.